in national Israel, see, there is a seed that Jehovah gave to Abraham. Abraham gave it to Isaac, Isaac gave it to Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. So that seed is manifesting on 12 levels, but primarily in Judah. But it was Israel that came out of Egypt. That seed that Jehovah gave to Abraham. It was a seed that could potentially become the second Adam. It was the seed that could potentially be Adam again, because Adam died. The first Adam died to his immortality and became this cattle, became mixed with the cattle, which we are. But that thin element that's capable of producing the life of God is still present in the cattle. So when Jehovah met Israel at the foot of Mount Sinai and made a covenant with them, and the men of Israel said, we will hear you and we will obey you. We'll understand what you tell us to do and we will do it. In that unification, Jehovah, unified with that seed that Jehovah initially gave to Abraham, Jehovah unified with himself. And that unification produced a growth. It produced an expansion of the seed that was in the people. Are you following me? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the expansion of that seed has a name. In its expanded state, it's called the second Adam. So we have the men of Israel, who were both the first Adam in their physical bodies and in their carnal minds. Three elements to the first Adam: their physical body, their emotional soul, and their carnal mind. That was the first Adam. And in the men of Israel, there emerged an invisible entity called the second Adam, the consciousness of God. And Jehovah was joined, and that consciousness of God was the fruit of a union of Jehovah and the seed that he planted. It was the fruit of the union of Jehovah with himself in the men of Israel. And Israel became a supernatural people, undefeatable, fed supernaturally in the wilderness. But then that unity, that unity did not, how do I say this, did not provide for the physical body to endure forever, because the physical body was still the first Adam, who was spiritually dead. And when you're spiritually dead, when you die to your immortality and you're spiritually dead, then the time must come that you must physically die. If you're spiritually alive, it will keep your flesh alive. But if you're spiritually dead, the day of death has to come. So the day for each member of national Israel came, the time of their death came, whether it was on the battlefield or from old age, And when they died, when the first Adam in Israel died, God did not stand, Adam did not stand back up again. When Jesus died, when the first Adam and Jesus died, God caused him to stand up again. When the men of national Israel died, God did not cause Adam to stand up again. They did not survive the second death. They were hurt of the second death. Wherever the second Adam was appearing in Israel, that man, and as I understand it was just in the men, that man was hurt of the second death. He did not stand up again when he died. And since there is no provision to pass the second Adam to another generation through the genome, the second Adam did not die, but he collapsed back into seed. He went to sleep. Didn't die, he went to sleep.